Hi, NPFL Bass Pro Gary Adkins here with your weekly TRS tackle tip of the week. This week I decided to do a little segment on the bladed jig. I really feel it's a great way to put big fish in the boat from early spring to late fall. So today I'm going to go through the rod and reel combination I like to use, the bladed jig I prefer, trailers, colors, and then we'll get into some of the areas that I would target, big largemouth and smallmouth. So let's start with the rod and reel. I've got a Dobyns Champion XP Series DC735 glass rod. It's Dobyns' version of their crankbait rod and chatterbait rod, and it really works great for a chatterbait. When I make a long cast and I'm starting to bring that chatterbait in, this rod allows a little extra action onto that bladed jig, and then also when a fish strikes, it's got just enough tip to where it allows that fish to suck that chatterbait in before I set the hook. And when I set the hook, I know I've got them hooked good. And it also allows me to fight them back to the boat. Even if they jump out of the water, this rod, for whatever reason, I do not lose hardly any fish on this rod. So it's a great, great rod for chatterbait fishing. I've got it paired up with a Catula Elite bait casting reel, 6.3 gear ratio. And typically I'm going to spool it up with a Power Pro braid. This one I've got spooled up right now with Seagar 15-pound Invisex fluorocarbon, only because last fall when I was using it last, I was targeting smallmouth on the St. Lawrence River, and it was shallow, clear water, and I didn't want them to see that braided line, so I went with a fluorocarbon. Great, great rod and reel combination. You can't go wrong with that setup. As far as the bladed jigs that I use, there's a lot of great ones on the market right now. Omega's got a great one. Strike Cream's got the Thunder Cricket. But for me, I've been using the Z-Man jackhammer for several years now. And for whatever reason, I just think it's got the right combination of vibration and action. And it comes with a super, super sharp hook. As you can see, that's a big hook and it's super sharp. So that's why I lean towards the jackhammer. As far as colors, I'm always going to stick with natural colors. Your green pumpkins, black and blue, your white and chartreuse. Them are the three that I've got the most confidence in. For whatever reason, I just seem to get a lot more strikes. I may go with a chartreuse like this if the water is stained. In fact, this one right here caught me a couple nice fish last fall when I was fishing a river that was a little bit dirtier, and they were really hitting this one good. But that's about the only time I would use a bright chartreuse like that, is if the water's a little stained. Early in the spring on grass lakes, especially in the south, oranges and reds work really good. Gunnersville, Chickamauga, anywhere where you got deep grass lakes, this orange and red, when they're fishing in that pre-spawn mode, is a great color. As far as trailers, I really only use three different kinds of trailers. I'm going to use the Yamamoto Zaco, as you can see here. It's a great, great trailer for the jackhammer. The combination between the jackhammer and this trailer has a great action and seems to trigger some really nice strikes, especially big fish. Other than that, you may see me use a Zoom Super Fluke if I'm trying to target shad lakes where the fish are really feeding on shad. I may use the Zoom Super Fluke. Or you may even see me use a Z-Man Diesel Minnow. That's another great trailer for the jackhammer. As far as areas that I'm going to target with this, if I'm fishing largemouth, I am going to be targeting weed lines, weed flats. With weed flats, I'm going to be looking for that 6 to 10 foot range, where the weeds come up maybe 3-4 feet off the bottom. I'm going to make a long cast where I think the fish are, and I'm going to let that sink down to the level where I think that I'm going to be just ticking the top of the weeds, because you don't want to get deep into the weeds, because it's going to come back real hard. So I just want to tick the top of the weeds, and if I get caught up in the weeds, I just want to snap it out, let it fall, and continue my retrieve. A lot of times when you snap it out, them fish are down there looking at it, and that will create a reaction strike. So always pay attention when you snap it out, because there's a good chance you can get a strike at that time. I also use them around boat docks. I skip them underneath pontoon boats. If I'm going to be fishing docks, I'm going to try to make contact with the pillars or posts and create another reaction strike. If I'm going to be skipping them under pontoon boats, I'm just going to skip it under, let it sink a little bit, and just slow roll it out. A lot of times you can get fish that way also. If I'm going to target smallmouth, I'm going to be on shallow rocky flats, maybe with eelgrass, boulders, gravel. Smallmouth like to hide behind boulders and eelgrass in shallow clear water on flats, and they'll just ambush the chatterbait as it comes by. It's a great way to put big smallmouth in the boat. Last fall when I was on the St. Lawrence River, like I was saying, that's why this one was set up. I was targeting them on shallow clear flats and catching some really nice smallmouth on the St. Lawrence River. It was actually my backup plan for that tournament that I fished. But I caught so many big fish with that deep drag that I was doing. I didn't have to go to this pattern, but it was my backup pattern if that would have went away. So I hope that tackle tip helps you put more fish in the boat with the chatterbait. And everything you see here can be purchased at thereelshot using promo code Gary 8597. You can save 10% on everything in the store, all your tackle online, all the apparel. So I'd say take advantage of it, save yourself some money, and until next week, I hope to see you on the water.